Hello, hello, and welcome back to Business Happy Hour. We've got shit to chat about today, y'all. Okay. So, I, most of you know by now that I recently got licensed in real estate, and I wanted to do an entire podcast episode on it for a few reasons. One, because I'm excited to talk about it, but two, because you guys had a lot of questions about it, and I want to kind of demystify some things. So we're gonna jump right into it, and we're gonna have a good time. Okay. So the first thing that I want to chat through is just like the story of how the heck I got here, right? Like started as a dietitian, 5 years later, it's like dietitian, business coach, real estate agent. Oh, what the fuck is this girl doing, right? And truthfully, it's I don't know if it's in my personality, I don't know what it is. I don't like to do the same thing all the time. Hence why I could not have a 9 to 5. I do not like when I was in my dietetic internship, the idea of going to, I mean, it was the hospital, but like having the same process every single morning, or it's like, all right, print out your patients for the day, review your patients for the day, like the same thing over and over and over again. It drove me bonkers. I don't know what I would have done. Like it kept me sane that we were obviously like going through different rotations. So we would switch every like 2 to 3 weeks, but to have to do the exact same thing every day drives me absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. So it's obviously a beautiful thing that I get to, in entrepreneurship, you can make it whatever the heck you want, but there's still things just I love learning. I love learning new things. I love dipping my toe into new things. Like there's just so much to learn and it's so fun to me. And so my dietitian career started from a place of I want to know all of the information about nutrition, and that was from a disordered place at the time. And then I ended up helping people with disordered eating, which was beautiful and amazing, and I loved. Um, and then I really found it's so fascinating to like grow in life and see how each move brings you somewhere else. Like I really never understood that in like my early 20s. It was always like you have to pick the thing that you want to do and it has to be the thing that you do forever, right? And I really struggled with that. And then as I progressed in my career, I realized that like there were so many things out there for me that I wasn't maybe weren't a right fit at the time in my early 20s, or this was just the trajectory and the path that I was meant to take. But it's really interesting how it's all led me here. So it's something I really just wanted to talk through because I know so many people get so stuck where it's like, I don't know what the right thing to do is. I don't know what the right move is. And truly and genuinely, the number one thing that has gotten me here is to just fucking do things. Like, you are not going to get any clarity whatsoever at all if you just stay stuck and overthink your next move. Like, literally just do it. Now, that's not to say that this happened overnight. Like there was definitely things that came up and roadblocks for me to get here, but becoming a dietitian, creating my own practice, that led me to my passion for marketing and sales. Like that's never something that I thought I would enjoy. Like never in a million years, right? Like, ugh, business, no way. And I'm obsessed with it. Like literally, reading books on it, fully immersing myself all the time in marketing sales. And that's why I love my job so much. And I get to love the work that I do every single day with my clients because I'm just obsessed with what I do. I find it so fascinating. I think it's so, I've always been someone that's fascinated with like psychology. So I think it's so interesting how, marketing and sales and all of these things play into like human psychology. And I just love it. So, anyway, I wouldn't have gotten to this place of being a business mentor without the experience that I had in my nutrition business. And I wouldn't have gotten to now being a real estate agent without having the experience as a business coach. Like everything that has allowed everything that's happened on this whole journey has kind of brought me to this place that I've been able to do these things, right? So the real estate stuff, fast forward to 2 years ago, and then we'll how we're here now. But about 2 years ago, I was really fascinated with, I've always been fascinated with real estate, truly. My dad had his own mortgage company, and my mom currently still does interior design. And we've always just been a big real estate family. It's just been something that we've enjoyed as a family. Like literally in middle school, we'd be driving home from like a lacrosse game on a Saturday, and I'd see an open house sign and be like, "Can we go? Can we go? Like, I want to see it." My parents bought our, I guess you could call it like forever home when I was in fifth grade, I want to say, I believe. Yeah, fifth grade. And literally the next month, I'm like on Zillow, if that even existed then. I don't know, whatever I was on. Honestly, I think I went to like Houlihan Lawrence. I don't know. I like loved Houlihan Lawrence. It's so funny. But I would search for homes and I like couldn't conceptualize at the time. I'm like, why can't we just move again? I want a new house. Like I'm over this one. Like my parents are like, we don't rent this home, Lauren. Like we own this. We bought it a month ago and we're not leaving. And I'd be like, okay, but I just want to like go to this open house. Like I just want to go to the next. Like I just loved it. Loved it. So it's funny how, you know, it never crossed my mind to like be a realtor. I had like, in full transparency, I had like a negative connotation towards realtors. Not anyone in particular, just my idea and my beliefs around a realtor, were just kind of that they just open doors, right? They open doors, they don't have much value, like there's not much um there's not much to them. Like, do you really have any type of expertise kind of thing, right? And when Austin and I bought our current home, I really got a good look into the process of the first time home buying process and what it looked like and all that our realtor did for us and how realtors really have their own business too. And it was so cool to me. I was like, I did not realize all of this. And so about 2 years ago, I was like, I really want to add something in terms of real estate. I don't know what it looks like just yet, but I know that I want to do something with real estate. Okay. So my first instinct is like, ooh, magic pill, shiny object syndrome. I heard that Airbnb is amazing. I heard that it literally basically prints money. And I'm like, a short-term rental, that'd be so fun. Let me see how I can get into this. Now, with an investment property, you have to put 20% down, the whole nine. So then I'm like, okay, well, we're almost in our house for 2 years. What if we just moved after the 2 years and then we turn that into a rental property so we don't have to put 20% out on investment property, all the things. Like there's so many little intricacies and details. But so I was exploring that and I ended up going into a program that I honestly really was not happy with. Unfortunately, it's my own fault. I didn't stand my ground. I felt very pushed into a sales situation. And that was really, really shitty. It was really interesting too, now thinking back on it. They I can't remember the exact process, but essentially it was one of those things where it was like a funnel and watch this 40-minute video before you can book your call with us. I watched it. It was with the owner, who obviously wasn't the person that got on the call. And then I scheduled the call and there was going to be, he was like, oh, okay, I'm going to like send you some pre-work. And I didn't get the pre-work. And he was very like shameful and just being like, okay, well, when are you going to like, I'm not getting on the phone until I can't remember the exact details. I just remember it was like incredibly rude, putting the blame on me that I hadn't completed the pre-work when I never received it. And throughout the call too, just being like, well, you would know this if you read the pre-work, blah, 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 all these things. So, I don't know what state of mind I was in. I guess I was really excited about it and I had a lot of confidence in the program because of the person that had created the program. And, it's not to say that the program is bad. It, had great information. I just felt I was sold something different, right? And we've all had that experience, unfortunately. And that's why I'm so open and transparent. And I set expectations for every client relationship I have. I'm like, this is what you're getting. Here's the expectation. Here's what you can expect of me, and here's what I expect of you. Right. So if someone gets on a call with me and they're like, hey, like I'm looking for a coach, I'm like, okay, well, these are the standards that I have. I have a standard where I will not, you know, be coming and checking in on you if you want to hit a $20,000 month and you need me to, you know, I don't know, whatever it is, something that you're like desperately needing. I'm like, that's not going to be the person that's going to hit a $20,000 a month, right? It sounds harsh, but it's true. Now, I do have clients too that they're like, hey, if you're, a coach that's not going to do X, Y, and Z, then I'm not going to be able to move forward. I'm like, great. Thanks for being transparent with that. Now, on the other hand, I have clients who are like, I'm sorry, I'm like really needing you to hold my hand right now. And I'm like, that's totally fine, right? It's my responsibility to set the boundary if I don't have the capacity for that right now. Meaning, like, say, for example, somebody puts, like, this is actually something that happened. So, I do a lot of client asset review with my clients, right? Where I'll review email sequences, sales pages, content, etc. And it's a huge, huge moneymaker for my clients when once we like go through the review process and everything. I mean, it arguably could double or triple their income. Um, but I was feeling really overwhelmed and kind of like pulled in a bunch of different directions when like one day someone would submit an email sequence and then the next day content and da da da. And it was just, I was flip-flopping a lot, which it wasn't allowing me to like get in the zone of really truly editing their messaging to the degree that I would like to edit it, right? So if I'm like, okay, I'm just popping in Slack expecting to like answer a few messages like I do on the daily basis, and then it's like, oh shit, she just sent me an entire email sequence that my policy is to have it back in 24 hours. Like that put a lot of stress on me. And then I didn't want to do half-assed work just so that it's like, oh, well, I told her it would be 24 hours. So I shifted the standard. And I was like, listen, in order to provide you with the best feedback, we're now going to have an asset review all day. On Mondays, I get into my zone where I am reviewing all assets, and it is so much better for me. It is so much better for the feedback that I'm providing. It is so much better for the client, right? So it's all about expectations. Anywho, I don't want that to come off that like, oh, if somebody wants personalized support, I'm not providing it by any, that's not what I'm saying by any means. But what I am saying is like, if I'm communicating that I'm going to be available 24/7 and then I don't answer within 2 minutes, like that's obviously setting you up for failure, right? So I personally don't feel that it was communicated to me that there's a potential that so basically they tell you in the program like we recommend that you start in your area, but they didn't convey that in my area Airbnb was practically impossible with permitting and licensing and all these things. Like they didn't convey that there's different laws and all of that, right? Now, is it my job to do the due diligence? You could argue that, right? Like I can take ownership over that. There's so many different things that I can argue. So I hold no grudge over it. I'm like, I'm gonna pay this off, and I'm willing to take ownership that I probably should have asked more questions. I'm willing to take ownership that um it's the nature of life, right? I take full ownership that it was my decision. Nobody, I mean, I felt a little bit forced into the decision, I will say that. But overall, I have control over the decision that I made and I paid the bill, right? So that's that. Um, I don't operate from a place of having regrets. I don't think it's helpful. So I personally am like, hey, I still have access to all this information. Who knows? Maybe one day I will own an Airbnb and I'll be able to come back to all this information. And it has, best practices of opening your or Airbnb, cleaning services, what to do, the systems, the processes, X, Y, and Z, right? So that was the end of my Airbnb journey. We paid it off and I still have access to it. Should I, decide to pursue it in the future? And throughout this whole process, I'm kind of going back and forth with our realtor who had sold us our home that we are currently in. And I was like, I always loved real estate. And what do you think about Airbnb? Do you have any experience in this? Do you have any experience in that? And so it started with the Airbnb. She's like, I don't have much experience with it. And then I started learning about wholesale. So wholesaling real estate is another, I didn't realize at first that there were so many freaking things that you could do with real estate, right? And the reason I was appealed to it is because I was like, I would love to get into something different, have a little bit of variety in addition to coaching, but at the same time, it's also flexible. Like I didn't want to you know, do something that I couldn't control my schedule and whatnot, right? Like I wanted a variety. And something I've been telling my clients too is like, I really, really realized that the toll it was taking on me to be home alone all day, every day. Um, and the way I realized this is like when I actually went to go visit my good friend in San Diego. I mean, I was like, wow, this is a whole nother world. Like, we went to her workout class, we saw people, we got coffee with people after. And I'm like, I don't have that in Philly. Like, I need community. And we have like our friends that we see on the weekend and whatnot, but it during the week, I'm just in my own world. I see my clients virtually, but I think it was really fucking with my inspiration and my creativity and my happiness. So that was something else I was craving. And I'm like, oh, real estate would be perfect for that too. Like I can create a community and I can see people and go out and, not just be chained to my desk all day. Not that I'm chained to my desk, obviously. Like that's why I'm an entrepreneur, but like there's no reason for me to really go anywhere, right? With the coaching business, I could absolutely do like networking events and whatnot, but it just didn't feel right. Like I wanted it in another capacity. I wanted a little bit of diversity in my work. So, yeah. So I'm super excited. So I learned about wholesale. So wholesaling real estate is basically off-market properties, and basically these wholesalers will find the off-market properties and they will sell them essentially for a discount to investors. So they're usually like kind of dilapidated properties that the owner is just like, I just need the cash now, like just sell it. And then you charge basically an assignment fee. Um, so say for example, I got the property under contract with the buyer for 250. Okay, great. Then I would sell it, or sorry, with the seller, then I would sell it for maybe 260, 270 if I could, because then you have a $10,000 to $20,000 gap, which is then your assignment fee for basically selling it, right? Whereas obviously in like residential real estate, we're talking like on the MLS and the that are on the market, that commission schedule isn't typically a set fee as of right now. There's going to be some changes. Who knows what's going to happen in the industry, but it's more of a percentage, right? That 2.53% commission based on the sale. So it's not an assignment fee. So anyway, I then asked our realtor again, I'm like, have you heard of wholesale? What are your thoughts on this? And then it kind of got to a point where she was like, listen, why don't we get coffee? Why don't we kind of like chat things through? And I personally, like, if I were you, I would just get my license. Why don't we just get you your license? I'm happy to mentor you. Like, it'll be great. Right. So I'm like, okay. And I had actually bought the course about 2 years prior, like when I was doing the Airbnb stuff. I had bought the course to become a real estate agent. So I held it for like 2 years. Good stuff. And I finally finished the course, did the thing, studied for a little bit. If anybody listening to this is looking into real estate and you're taking the exam anytime soon, highly recommend Prep Agent. That was amazing for me. And yeah, here we are. So I passed my exam on the first try, which is wild because your girl's not a good test taker. So I was very happy and proud of myself for that. And now I am a realtor with Coldwell Banker. And the fun part is that owning like having your real estate license is basically owning your own real estate company, right? Nobody's giving me leads. Nobody's telling me to go into an office. You're an independent contractor. So I need to get my own clients. Now, how have I gotten my own clients in the past? Instagram, content. So it's been really fun to kind of experiment and see like, oh, this is interesting. How are we going to get clients through Instagram for now real estate? So I did it for nutrition. I did it for business coaching. I've done it for business coaching. And now we're going to take all the strategies that I used for nutrition, for my nutrition account, for my business account to now be for my real estate account. So stay tuned for that. If you're not following the real estate account yet and you're curious on, what's going down in that world, it's Lauren Sharpe with an E, Realty right now. Till my name changes. I'm getting married on May 31st. Wild. So soon. So yeah, that's the journey in case you were curious. But yeah, so a little bit into the strategy that I'm going to be using with the Instagram side of things. So I created that account, and the main purpose, this is what I teach in Content Catalyst, is like the process of what stage are you in, right? So you can call them like seasons of business. Like that's essentially what I call it, like seasons of your Instagram, seasons of your content you're going to go through, right? So I started this account from a fresh start from zero, right? I don't have the eyeballs. So the first step is that I need to get the eyeballs. I need to get people seeing that I exist. I need the visibility, right? So the first thing I'm doubling down on is growth content. Now, that is a lot of reels. And then there's a strategy to growth content. However, I don't want it to all be growth content. So I throw in some carousel posts that, are a little bit more of like that nourishing type of content. And for each industry, it's going to be different, right? For growth, nourish, convert, the GNC method is what I teach in Content Catalyst. So if you want more detail on like, what do I do in the growth phase? What do I do in the nourish phase? What do I do in the convert phase? Content Catalyst is where it's at. You can just reach out to me, just DM me. But I'm focusing on growth right now. So that's my strategy currently. I will keep you guys updated and posted on how all the things go. But I'm very excited. So I thank you for being here. I thank you for your support on all the things that I do. My journey, like my crazy ideas and all the things. It's a fun ride. And I'll be honest with you, like something that I definitely thought about before sharing this information was, what are people going to think? Are my clients going to think that they are not going to be taken care of because I have another venture? My, are people going to think that business isn't going well and I need something else? And like neither of those are the case by any means. Business is still great. I'm just craving something different. And um, as far as my clients go, nothing will change. Literally nothing will change. I would never commit to something or have someone paying me money to decrease the value of the service that I'm providing by any means. So if you're listening to this, you're a client or you're thinking about being a client or you're a future client, you will be 100%, if not more, taken care of as you always are. Okay. And I wrote in a newsletter that I put out for the April newsletter, like you'll be 100% taken care of, if not more, because I think me getting out and experiencing more conversations and seeing more people in person and getting out of the house. Like I actually think it's going to be really, really helpful for my mental health, for my creativity, for my inspiration, all the things. Um, and it's just interesting that that's where my brain went, where I'm like, ooh, what if people think that I'm not gonna, be as good of a coach or whatever it is? Because I could be adding a shit ton of things on my plate in other areas, but just because it's like a new venture, that's the belief. You know what I mean? Um, so you never know what people are doing behind the scenes. I could be building out a robust, you know, brand new business. And if I never said anything, like my clients would never know? So I am committed to the standard that I've created and I choose to uphold for my business, for my clients, and I'm excited to see where it takes me. So I like love chatting. I'm so open to having conversations. If you have any questions, just let me know. Just send me a DM. Instagram's my home. So I would love to chat with you guys. We For updates, we have a new cohort of Content Catalyst starting in May, which I'm so excited about. This cohort has just been life-giving. The ladies inside they're killing it. They're doing amazing. They're asking incredible questions. It's my favorite thing. Like getting on the phone with them is just so fun and exciting and they're powerhouses. They're doing such cool things and it's so cool to like watch and help them facilitate that. So, very exciting. So, let me know if you're interested in our May cohort, or if you're interested in working together at all. Feel free to shoot me a DM on It's Lauren Sharpe. Again, would love to just chat, and I will talk to you guys very soon.